Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Western Placer Waste Management Authority meeting of February 12th, 2026. Good to see you all here. And we have Director Halden online. We are going to begin with a Pledge of Allegiance, and Supervisor Landon, would you lead us, please?
Please join me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right, who gets to do roll call?
That would be me.
Oh, well, look at that. We just do all duties as assigned, huh, Eric? Thank you.
All right, Director Halden.
Here, can you hear me?
Yep,
Yes, we can.
can.
Director Holdeshelt.
Here.
Director Landon.
Here.
Director Reedy.
Here.
Chair Gore.
Here. Great, we're all here, and then we have the statement of meeting procedures, please.
Welcome to the Western Placer Waste Management Authority meeting of February 12th, 2026. Agendas are available on the table outside this meeting room. If you're here to speak on a matter not on the agenda, you may do so during public comment. The board is not permitted to take action on items addressed under public comment. All items on the agenda will be open for the public to address before final action is taken. Accessibility information is provided on the meeting agenda. Please turn off or put in silent mode all cell phones and other electronic devices. Thank you for your participation.
Great, thank you, Eric. All right, we'll move to public comment. This is an opportunity for anyone in the public to make a comment on an item that's not on our agenda. Anyone in the audience wish to make a public comment? All right, seeing none, we will close public comment. Thank you, and move to item 6, which is announcements and information, and we will start with a report from our general manager.
Thank you, Chair Gore. I'll start out with a bit of unfortunate news. On January 9th, a highly valued member of the WATMA staff, Justin Pace, or JP, suffered a leg injury while working out on the landfill. He's probably the most liked person on the team here, so Will's a little bummed to not have him. But the good news is he had successful surgery. He's at home recovering, resting, and he's going to get back as soon as he's cleared by his doctors. That did trigger an OSHA inspection the next day, which Will and I were a part of, and I'll commend Will for taking the lead. We got everything ready. The inspection went very well. It was unfortunately just an accident, a slip out there on the landfill. It's dangerous conditions. So we're looking forward to getting JP back. On February 2nd, WATMA hosted a tour of roughly 100 people in total from the U.S. Composting Council Conference that was taking place in SAC. We had composting experts from all over North America, Canada, the U.S., here to see the composting operations and the MRF. The tour went very well. Thanks to WATMA staff, it was a full staff effort, and FCC guys over there really stepped up and did a great job on the tour. It made us look, it just looked good, and people were excited to see the MRF and what we're doing out there. Staff we're working diligently to bring some items to the board in the next 2 months. An agreement to review with Ameresco on the landfill gas. We're getting close with that. A lease agreement with Recology for the western property, which will be a very positive thing for actually everybody involved. And hopefully an amended and restated MRF agreement with FCC within the next couple months for your review. We have a renewable placer open house. Emily's not here, but formerly known as the Odor Workshop on February 26th at 4 o'clock. We'll send an invite out to you guys. You're welcome to come by. They're usually pretty well attended. We give a tour of the facility and meet with the public and show them everything we're doing to mitigate the odors as much as possible.
Scott, can I interrupt you? Could you have that sent to us so that we could share it with our constituencies?
Yes.
That would be great.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And we will have the second WATMA non-county employee, such as myself. I'm number 1, and we're having a number 2 start on March 2nd.
Seems kind of presumptuous to say you're number 1.
Well, I technically I am. So Brittany Ward, she'll be a business operations specialist, also serving as clerk of the board. So we're excited to get her in, and she's going to help all departments at the WAPMA. That's it.
Great, thank you, Scott. Any other questions? I didn't mean to interrupt, but any other questions for him on this item? No. All right, let's move to our auditor's report. We have our auditor controller, Andy Sisk, is going to come up and talk about the is that the CAFR?
The ACFR
ACFR.
for Western Placer Waste Management Authority, fiscal year ended June 30, 2025. Andy Sisk, Placer County Auditor Controller. Good evening, Authority Board. I'm here to, actually, I'm not going to present your financials. I will introduce you to the CPA firm that will present the financial statements. One of the things I always like to remind the boards is the reason we include the JPAs and the county audit contract is there's a government code section that points me as the auditor controller for JPAs, and especially if the JPAs are using the county's accounting system, there's efficiencies gained, hopefully a reduction in audit fees, because the CPA firm only has to test the controls one time and can rely on those controls for all the other auditees under the contract. So every 5 years we go out to bid. The firm that we selected a couple of years ago was LSL CPAs. We're very pleased with the services they provided to date. So without further ado, I'm happy to introduce the LSL team led by Barrett, who's the audit manager on the engagement.
Thank you, Andy.
Thank you, Andy. So yes, correct. My name is Barrett Warnick. I am a senior manager with LSL CPAs, and I work underneath partners Brandon Young and Christian Towns on the engagement. We do quite a bit of work, I think, with the county, but also with the WAPMA team as we kind of prepare this presentation. If you'd like to go ahead and advance the slide, just to discuss kind of briefly the scope of our engagement, we perform a financial statement audit of the Western Placer Waste Management Authority, and we were engaged to do that as of June 30, 2025 for this current year, and we do it under government auditing standards, which is kind of important to point out. There's some nuances to that, and you can go ahead and advance. As we do that engagement, there are a couple things that we like to just point out. We perform what we refer to as a risk-based or risk-oriented audit. And the concept there is that we do some interim field work. We come in and perform some tests to gain understandings of the control systems. As Andy mentioned, the county's ERP system and how things are processed at the level of the county, and then also here at the authority. And based on that, we try to focus on specific areas that could be of risk and focus our audit procedures over that and weight them accordingly. Just to ensure that we're looking at things kind of in the right order and to make sure that we give things the right amount of focus. You can go ahead and advance to the next slide. Probably the most important part of the audit is, and if you had a copy and we're looking at it right in the very front, there's going to be an opinion letter. And we're pleased to report that the opinion for WAPMA this year is unmodified. And what that really means is that it's a clean opinion. It's the best opinion you can have. It's what you want. It's the purpose of the audit. And so we're very happy to report that, and I think that that's an important achievement. We also included with that, we do a report on internal controls over compliance. We give recommendations based on that are hopefully valuable to the organization, and have provided some this year. And some feedback as we perform the work, and as well as that, as we do that, we don't necessarily design our audit to determine if there's fraud or waste, but as we perform our audit, we are very cognizant and aware and pay attention to anything of that nature. And if there was anything of that sort of condition, we would certainly report that to you this evening. We're pleased to report there's nothing of that nature that was noted during our procedures. But we didn't have any disagreements with management. If we had, we would bring that to your attention as well. We didn't have any significant delays or anything of that sort. We work pretty closely with Scott's team and with Andy's team. Everybody's very helpful. It's a lot of work to do an audit, and so we're very appreciative of kind of the professionalism of the teams here that work under the county and the authority. They kind of make our job a little bit easier. So that's kind of the high-level overview of the engagement. But happy to respond to any questions that anybody might have.
Great, thank you very much, Barrett. Any questions from directors? Anyone in the public have any questions? All right, well, that's always what we want to hear. Clean audit. We appreciate the hard work. Thank you to our team who worked with you, and until next year.
Until
right?
next time,
It
yeah.
is it every year? It's every year.
Yeah.
Every year.
Well, we keep you paid and in business. so-
Thank you very much. We appreciate you having us.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right, next we will move on to item 6C, which is financial reports. Stephen?
Yeah, thank you. Good afternoon. I'd like to just go ahead and direct your attention to page 5. It's our budget to actuals. We have prorated the annual budget for 6 months of year-to-date equivalent and compared it to the actuals year-to-date with notes for larger variances. If I could just go over a couple highlights with you. On the revenue side, we are trending higher than budget on solid waste disposal, which is a few lines down. We have a favorable variance of about 509,000 or 2.1%. We're also trending better than budget on miscellaneous revenue, a few rows down from there, of about 705,000, largely due to liquidated damages assessed to our contractor FCC. Recently, we had 2 significant LDs, one for 262.7 thousand, which was a third quarter disincentive, and also a 215.5 thousand LD for November MRF delays.
I'm sorry, liquidated damages,
Those are liquidated, liquidated.
LD?
Yeah, LDs,
Okay.
yeah.
Just wanted to make sure I was following along. I knew you knew the answer.
I'm glad you asked. All right. And then on the expenses side, under operating expenses, a couple of our larger items here. There's a large favorable variance in budget in the professional and special services general. However, this variance is due to timing, as we have not received many invoices from some of our vendors. Also, under professional and special services, technical, engineering, and environmental, there is a large unfavorable variance in the line item SC 3180 MRF operations, largely offset by SC 3190, the landfill. And this is due to more waste going toward the MRF for initial processing. Is there any questions on the financials?
Can you explain that? What you mean by that? Because the numbers that the one's 13 million and one's 1.4, so they're not really offsetting. So
Yeah, they're partially offset. Yeah, so it's partially offset. It's not entirely offset. So on top of that, there is more unfavorable variance on the MRF side.
I think Eric can clarify a little bit.
yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
So we pay FCC per ton fee when waste is sent to the MRF to be processed. There's also a per ton fee if waste is sent directly to the landfill to be processed and disposed. It costs us more when material goes to the MRF, but the value is there as we're pulling materials out. So while we're spending more on that waste, it's going to the MRF where we really want it to go to. So FCC has the opportunity to sort through those materials instead of just sending it directly out to the landfill and filling up volume.
So does that mean that you're getting more material than we expected in the first half of the year?
Yeah, we are getting more material than we expected. As Stephen noted, we're up about 500,000, about 2% higher than what we thought tipping fee wise, which does reflect itself as more tons to the facility. And those additional tons are generally going to the MRF rather than straight to the landfill.
Okay. All right.
He's going to noodle it. You might have to
Yeah.
explain it more in detail
I
later.
might talk to you later.
All right.
Yep, absolutely.
Any other questions from Supervisor or Director Landon?
I don't have any questions, but just wanted to say thank you so much for adding the percent variance, because it makes it super helpful.
Yeah, I was actually able to read this on a computer, not this, but earlier today to actually see where I might have concerns, and the percentages made a big difference, so thank you. All right, anyone in the public want to comment? All right, then let's move, and Bill will make sure he lets us know when he has questions. We will move to the monthly tonnage reports.
Yes, good evening, Chair Gore, fellow board directors. Before you, you have the tonnage reports per each month through the month of January. Kind of similar to last month, it's a tale of weather that was going on that can help explain how the tonnages came in. We had a lot of weather early on in January, and so you probably accounts for why you see inerts, soils and concretes down low. That material got wet, jobs got delayed. My pool got delayed, in fact. But you also see, as the weather warmed up and as the rest of January turned a little warmer and nicer, C&D came up. So maybe some home projects are creeping up as well. People getting out and about and doing some additional items that they pushed off for a bit. We do see a large bump in miscellaneous tipping fee revenue. Miscellaneous tipping fee is accounted for treated wood waste, tires, appliances, and wastewater treatment sludge. There was no big load that we saw, in the month of January that could be like, oh, that did it. It was just an overall increase across the board for the month of January. So that's trending higher than the past variances have, but as you can see on that line item and on that chart, that's always trended higher than our projection, so looking good there. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions your board may have.
Great, thank you, Will. Any questions from board members? Anyone in the public? All right, then we will move to item E, which is operator update and quarterly report. Good evening-ish.
Good
Tony?
evening. So for today's update, I am going to, somebody can hear me? I'm going to split some of my time with an up-and-coming young talent that's asked to be developed. And I will focus a little bit more on the opportunities that we've had, and I will allow him to provide some highlights. So despite having a 14-week trend of not having to send any materials to the landfill that have tipped on the MRF, in late January, we did experience, after the paper dryer install, having to dispose of about 400 tons roughly to have to divert after the commissioning of the paper dryer, despite there being no heat and air, running into some snags with software and tweaking to the system. But despite that, we're back in line and moving forward. We'll continue to work through the MRF commissioning, continue to work over the next several months to improve the uptime, improve the recovery, continue to tweak the system to help gain better control of the overall system. And we also look forward to partnering with Nothing Wasted Consulting here in the next month, who's going to help us establish unbiased third-party SB 1383 audit to help us get to that high organics diversion facility. And with that, Jesse, if you wouldn't mind coming up, quick introduction and some highlights.
I haven't been this nervous since my sophomore year of high school.
Oh, we're really nice, so don't worry about it.
Good evening, everyone. For those who I haven't met, my name is Jesse Stratton. I've been in solid and hazardous waste for about 12 years now. I'm currently overseeing agricultural sales and public receiving operations. I wanted to take a moment to thank Bill Halden, if you could hear me, Bill, for testing out the public drop-off area and providing the thoughtful feedback. I did share his comments with my team, and they were excited to hear from somebody that wasn't their direct manager or part of their direct management. It does go a long way for morale, so thank you for that, Bill. Getting into some of the MRF updates, we've been working closely with Van Dyke to optimize system performance and increase recovery. The current focus areas include the AWS screen modifications, fine-tuning the optical sorters, and the completion of the paper dryers. Moving closer to the CASP system, the improvements we already have underway is ramping up inbound material for the pilot project. We also ordered larger screens to minimize the overs, reduce landfill disposal, and improve some of the finished product quality. On top of that, we did add headcount as well for the MSWO project, including a lead position. So that should focus on minimizing some of the compliance issues and driving productivity and accountability. Also for the C&D, we ordered some new decks and screen sizes for the ADC production to improve the material quality and increase consistency. And kind of like a broken record, we also added headcount there. Where we needed to support the throughput and ensure the operational stability. I do appreciate the board's time. Like I said, I'm a little nervous here. Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Board. Tony, Scott, Thank you for letting me get in this uncomfortable situation so it's not as uncomfortable next time. And I'm proud of the direction we're heading with the teams that we have on site. Been happy to work here, so.
Thank you very much, Jesse. Appreciate it. And you're going to
If you
continue?
guys have any questions, the biggest opportunity we continue to face is working our way through the recovery percentages. The report, you'll notice 11% for the MRF and about 45% for C&D. On the C&D side, some of that will be seasonal as the weather changes. We'll start seeing more of an uptick on the processing and the recovery of materials. But if you have any questions, we're here, we're available. Anyone want to ask?
I just wanted to make sure, Bill, can you hear Tony okay?
I can hear, and everything's great, and happy to have provided some positive feedback for the team.
Just wanted to make sure.
Okay.
Thank you.
Questions?
Yes, Chair Gore. Tony, it's on package page 22 of our document, but the last page of your quarterly report says the next scheduled SB 1383 material audit is scheduled for February 2025. Is that, should mean 2026?
It is 2026, and it was moved to March by the time
Okay.
we swapped out with consultants in the way we're processing.
So, okay, so it says 2025, but we're not going to go back to the future, right?
No, great catch.
We
Thank
do
you.
not want to go back to the future on this one.
No.
Thank you, Tony.
Any other questions? Yeah.
Tony had shared this with me offline, but maybe you can share it for the benefit of everyone. When did you tentatively expect the MRF to be conditioned and actually starting to meet 1383?
So as we work our way through the various components that Jesse discussed and working with Van Dyke, would anticipate later this year, fall, Q4, ideally.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Other questions? Thank you very much for the update. Appreciate it very much. Everybody looking at each other. Any other questions? All right. I'm just making sure. Don't want to overstep you. And Jesse, the practice makes almost perfect. None of us are perfect at it, so appreciate you getting out of your comfort zone. All right. Next, we will move to the item, 6F, facility projects update. Ryan. There he is.
Thank you, Chair, and good evening, Board. We'll just jump right into the MRF improvements. So all the internal ADA work was completed, before the end of last year, and then the ADA striping is also completed now. You saw probably the nice new paint out there for the handicap stalls, and then also a small loading zone towards the front. For Phase 3A, as Tony noted, Van Dyke began commissioning of the paper dryer system January 24th. Did require a complete shutdown of the MRF for the duration of the commissioning. The shutdown lasted 2 days, and during those 2 days, there were no MSW diverted. Just wanted to just shout out to FCC that we appreciate their effort in trying to prioritize that and not divert. They did ultimately have to later that week, but the effort was still there and still came through. So, and then along with the paper dryer work, we are working with FCC and Van Dyke for some additional fire detection measures on the paper dryers. So look forward to seeing kind of a proposal from Van Dyke on that, just for additional fire protection. There's a Firefly system that was added to the MSW shredders in the material receiving area. We expect that to be commissioned by the end of February. Moving over to the CASP pad itself is complete. And then also in that scope is the odor control equipment just here on the outside of the building. Van Dyke continues that work. All that is remaining is the actual ducting and the electrical, but the ducting does require some structural changes to concrete walls. So going through the design process, just trying to make sure we're all buttoned up before we put a hole in a wall. So we initially expected that system to be done by the end of February. At this point, it's probably going to push into maybe mid-March, but still pushing through on that one. They've also started and actually almost completed scale house construction for the new scale to the north of the new C&D facility. Still anticipated to be finished by the end of this month. And then we're working with FCC to determine a commissioning timeline and figure out our staffing and how we're going to man the new scale house. And we look forward to getting a kind of final traffic plan that includes that scale house in its route, and we'll review that before we implement that here on site. In regards to the certificate of occupancy, things are moving along. The county has requested that WATMA provide a plat and legal description for those easements, to formalize those, submit them to the county, and then at that point it will be fully complete and we can remove this section, hopefully. Jumping to the liner investigation, no real update from last time. We, submitted our repair plan to the water board, seeking their approval back in early December. Still haven't heard anything. I've heard verbally that they had planned to have something to us by this point. But now we're about a week past when they expected to have that. So it should be coming soon. Once that comes in, there is expected to be a timeline to actually implement those repairs. And we expect it to be a pretty quick turnaround. So you'll definitely be hearing from us as soon as we get more information on that. And then for the SPWA compliance project, we're actually presenting an agreement to construct and operate the biofilter landfill leachate pretreatment system in this meeting later on as part of this compliance project. And then just as a final reminder, a reminder that the final compliance date is October 26th of this year. So getting close to that point. Going over to the odor update, we continue to work with FCC regarding the intermittent odors from the compost and water quality ponds. FCC actually just added a Mr. deodorizer to the South Pond, and they also have plans to apply some algae control to, I believe, both ponds. And then this is all just in conjunction with their kind of bi-weekly applications of Odor X, which has seemed to help as well. So definitely a multifaceted attack on those odors. And, we see intermittent, those results come through, and appreciate their effort. And then we're also working with Jacobs to look to kind of upgrade that aeration system on the South Pond, and keep the dissolved oxygen a little bit higher, and that should also reduce odors. But with that, I would be happy to answer any questions on that.
Thank you, Ryan. Any questions? And anybody in the public? All right, we will next move to item 7, which is the consent agenda. And anyone want to remove an item from the consent agenda? Can we just remove item 6, because I want to let staff know when I'm not going to be here, and I don't know if any of the rest of you. So can we just remove item 6 and take the rest of the consent agenda, if that works?
Item C?
Or C.
Oh, okay.
7, that's a C, not a 6. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
Sure.
that's it. Anyone
Kevin?
else
I can
wanna
move for the
remove it?
rest minus C. Is that what you want to do?
7C is the one I want to remove.
Okay.
Yes. Anyone else want to remove an item? All right. If not, well, you can take the,
I'll move the consent A and B.
I'll
Second.
second.
Oh,
all right. All right. We have a
Have it.
motion from
How does she
Director
have it?
Reedy, second by Director Landon. Roll call because we have our member online. Roll call vote, please.
Director Holden.
Maybe come back to him.
Director Holshaw.
yes,
I'm fine. Although I could, if it's Eric speaking, I can hardly hear him.
Oh, okay. Director Holden, is that better? Is that better?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. All right, so we'll hear your vote again then, Director Holden. Director Holden, your vote?
Hey, Bill, can you say aye or yes?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
consent agenda.
I couldn't hear Eric though.
Okay.
Okay.
I could barely hear him.
My apologies.
Well, do you know what we voted, what we're voting on?
It's
I
all
do.
good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I can hear all of you guys perfectly. It's just Eric, I could barely, it was very
That
faint.
doesn't happen very often. Director Landon,
Yes.
Director Reedy,
Yes.
Chair Gore.
Yes. All right, motion passes. And then the item 7C is the 2026 board meeting schedule. Thank you. And I did find dates where either I have conflicts and they're different than what I had previously, Scott. So I will be here next month.
Yeah.
But just sort of a heads up, and I'll actually see if my alternate, who I think is it Supervisor Jones?
I think so, yes.
If she can join me, but unlikely on April 9th. July 9th, I'll be on vacation, and October 8th. I have conflicting out-of-town board meetings, so that's April 9th, July 9th, and October 8th. Anybody else know that you're going to be out of town, any of those board meeting dates, just so that we know ahead of time?
I know I will be gone on June 11th.
Okay, so Supervisor Landon is gone on June 11th. Director Halden, what did you say?
April 9th. Otherwise, I should be good the rest of the year.
Okay, April 9th for Director Halden, and either of the two of you?
I think I'm fine with these.
You too.
All right, terrific. That means we'll have quorum, and I'll try to get an alternate. Super. Then with that, any other conversation on this item? And if not, then I'll bring it back to the board for action.
I'll move to approve 7C.
All right, we have a motion. May I have a second?
Second.
Second by Director Hodeschelt, and roll call vote, please.
Yes. Director Hodeschelt,
Yes.
Director Halden,
Yes.
Director Landon,
Yes.
Director Reedy,
Yes.
Chair Gore.
Yes. Thank you very much. All right, item 8A is the Fourth Amendment to the agreement with SCS Engineers for aquifer testing. Ryan?
Good evening again. You're gonna hear me a lot tonight. So, for this one, the recommended action is to authorize the general manager to execute the Fourth Amendment to the aquifer pump test and feasibility agreement with SCS Engineers, and then also to approve a fiscal year 25-26 budget amendment to cancel reserves and increase the spending authority in the land improvements account. To give some background, back in July of 2020, if we can think back that far, the board authorized the execution of an agreement with SCS to design and conduct an aquifer pump test study, and this was requested by the Water Board in relation to the WATMA's 1994 Corrective Action Plan. So this is regarding the closed, unlined areas of the landfill, and really targeting, essentially getting more information on the possible groundwater plume that would be affected by the unlined modules. And then fast forward 4 years to November 2024, the Water Board issued a notice of violation that required us to develop a work plan that would then delineate the current contamination plume that was associated with that area, but then also develop a revised corrective action plan to address necessary changes that the Water Board had requested. So WATMA then worked with SCS to kind of pivot the work that they were doing and fit those new submissions into their current agreement budget. So we were able to do that without, having to come back and change things. We just reallocated some budget there. And then these work plans were actually both submitted in January of 2025. And then we had some revision comments from the Water Board, and they were resubmitted in December of 2025. The Water Board turned that around pretty quickly and got us back a contingent approval on January 6th for the work plans. And essentially this amendment is to just execute the scope of work that was laid out in those work plans. So it would allow SCS to hire a well driller and actually perform the plume delineation work plan and the actions required in the revised cap that they submitted. But yeah, if you have any other questions, love to answer.
Great, thank you, Ryan. Questions from directors? No, let's open this up to the public for any public comment. All right, just, I learned interesting things like plume delineation. All right, then seeing no other further discussion, we can have someone make a motion.
Move approval of staff's recommendation.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Director Hodeschelt, second by Director Reedy, and roll call vote, please.
All right, Director Reedy.
Yes.
Director Holshout.
Yes.
Director Landon.
Yes.
Director Halden.
Yes.
Chair Gore.
Yes, thank you. All right, Ryan, the next one is item 8B, which is Biofiltro Design Build Agreement and Operations and Maintenance Agreement.
Yes, thank you, Chair. So the recommended action for this item is 1, to approve a resolution just making findings that competitive procurement for this proposed project is not required due to the proprietary technology utilized in the project, and authorizing the general manager to execute the design build agreement with Biofiltro for the construction of a landfill leachate pretreatment system. It would also authorize the general manager to execute the operations and maintenance agreement with Biofiltro for the operation of the landfill leachate pretreatment system. Secondary action would be to approve a budget amendment to cancel reserves and increase the spending authority in the land improvements account to cover the capital expenditure for this project. To give background, as I noted in my projects update, the SPWA compliance plan has been an ongoing project, study, pilot program. It's kind of had it all. In 2023, the SPWA noted a number of constituents in the WATMA sewer discharge that exceeded our permit limits. And also due to the nature of those exceedances, the wastewater treatment plant actually experienced some pretty adverse effects on its treatment process, and they're seeing a lot of reduced effectiveness. And since then, we've been working with them to achieve compliance with our current industrial discharge permit and look for a long-term solution to continue meeting those requirements. So in 2024, we developed the compliance schedule alongside SPWA. This consisted of pilot studies, study analyses, reporting, and then engineering analysis, with the final goal of achieving a permit compliance by October 2026. The pilot studies that we conducted identified Biofiltro's technology as a unique and cost-effective method, not only in capital expense, but also maintenance costs and operational costs as well. Kind of after going through some internal estimating and some external research, we actually predict that the capital costs of this system and technology would be about 60% cheaper than traditional treatment technologies, and that operating costs would be about 78% cheaper than traditional treatment technologies. And then due to the proprietary nature of the system, staff does recommend that Biofiltro design, construct, and operate the proposed infrastructure. And this will aid in getting compliance by that final date, and it will allow for some flexibility in maybe some nuanced proprietary design changes throughout the construction process. And because this would be a turnkey contract, that would come at no additional cost to the WATMA, whereas working with kind could be subject to a lot of change orders and RFIs and possibly delays in construction as they would lack that familiarity with the proprietary technology. And we also expect that the design build nature of the agreement would also save about 3 months of time. That would be crucial in achieving compliance. We're already coming up close to the start of the construction season, and we're going to need that entire construction season as well as a portion of it to actually commission, tune, and get the system up to speed. So we're really, in a sense, under the gun of needing to get things going. As for the fiscal impact, the maximum not to exceed cost of the recommended design build agreement is 1.7 million and some change, as this cost was unknown at the time of the board's approval of the 25-26 budget, as well as where it would fall in the coming construction season. Budget amendment, canceling reserves is required to get this project approved. And then also the maximum not to exceed costs of the recommended operating and maintenance agreement is $840,000 over 5 years. This would be billed monthly, and is subject to extension at the end of the 5-year agreement, but that would be something that would be presented to your board as well. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Great, thank you very much, Ryan. Any questions?
I had asked this offline, but just for the public record. So it's a single source, no RFP, and I got the ramification or justification for that, which I'm comfortable with. Can you just explain how we can hold them accountable? It's their technology. They have to meet this requirement contractually to ensure that they deliver on what we need to deliver. Can you outline a little bit?
Yeah,
how that works?
In the operating contract, we actually have a table that denotes the kind of maximum expected, what we would call influent values. That's what would be coming in from the landfill to their treatment process, and then a maximum effluent that they would have to hit. And that's really where we're getting the compliance with the permit values, because they'll be required to be at or lower than our permitted values for their system. And there's clauses built into that contract that would remit costs back to Biofiltro if they were not able to meet those requirements. So additional modifications subject to lab testing that would be performed monthly. So we would know pretty quickly if something were to go out of compliance, and they would be responsible for bringing that back into compliance.
So if I heard it right, the goal is to be up and running by October, which is when the maintenance 5 years kicks in.
That is when we hope to be fully operational. So that would include all tuning, and so they would be held to those. As long as they finish construction in the time that we expect, they would be held to those regulatory limits at that date.
And the 5 year, does that start now, or does that start after commissioning, or when it starts tuning? When does that start?
It would start after commissioning, and at the point of once they're being held to the regulatory limits and it's fully commissioned, that's when the term of that would start.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Yeah, if I could follow up. When you say remit, so if they don't meet the effluent limits, they pay us?
They
I mean,
pay to change the
authority?
system. So if, let's say, an additional filter would be needed, they would just pay directly the cost of that. We wouldn't have to pay any. Maybe my usage of remit was
Just want to make sure I understood.
wrong. But yeah, so if they don't meet the effluent characteristics, then it would be their responsibility, both financially and operationally, to meet the requirements by whatever means necessary. So if that means adding a filter, adding a treatment step, that would be on their dime.
And so my next question's related to my first. So if they don't meet it, and then there's a regulatory fine, who pays that? Is that in the
So
contract?
that's also in the contract as well. Any fines that can be reasonably attributed to them not meeting their effluent values would be then remitted to them to pay,
Oh, I see.
and not the authority.
Yeah.
Okay, so where the authority's not on, yeah, so there's language in here?
Correct.
Okay,
Yeah, and it's in the operating contract in
Okay.
Exhibit A.
all right.
All right,
Those are
very
my
good questions.
No,
Thank you. Any questions from the public? I think my question is, so this is it's a newer process, right, in this environment, correct? Is that my understanding? Right, so when this works like so well, and we've saved 60% less in expenses, like, we're gonna get a kickback on all their future uses of this project for other landfills? Just a thought, anyway.
They're over here, so we'll work that out.
We'll work it out.
Okay.
But yeah, they actually do have, I think it's over 51 facilities in California, not all landfill, mostly in agriculture. So a lot in canning, winemaking, those sorts of applications, which also have very high organics in their effluent, and that's part of the draw and their confidence of how they believe they can handle this effluent. So
And the pilot project worked well, which is why we're moving forward.
correct.
Right,
Correct.
which is great, and
Yep, they were
I
able-
love that.
Yeah, they were able to hit it at the scale. They hit even below, far below our actual permit requirements. So we don't expect there to be any issue. And during the entire kind of contract drafting, they've maintained that, this will not be, it won't be a problem. They had no exceptions to the fact that costs would be remitted back to them. So it just speaks highly of their confidence in the system and the engineering analysis that they performed on their pilot program.
Well, great. I mean, it's terrific to see a technology that we'll be able to use that ultimately saves ratepayer dollars, and we like that part. So, all right, thank you. Without any further discussion, then we can take action.
I'll make a motion, but I'm not sure the dollar amounts were read into the record. And then I don't think the number 3 was read into the record either.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if we needed to read it or if it being present in
the way it
the.
was.
Do I have to read it, or is it okay if
No,
it's?
I think it's okay if it's
Okay,
right.
Okay.
then I will move approval.
We have
Second.
a motion by Director Landon, second by Director Reedy. Roll call, please.
Director Holdshout,
Yes,
Director Halden,
Yes.
Director Reedy,
Yes.
Director Landon,
Yes.
Chair Gore.
Yes, great. Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Before we move on, if I could
Yes.
just thank Ryan, Will, BBK, and also the Biofiltro guys. This took a lot of work. It was kind of unique, but they really worked hard on it and made it happen. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you very much. I mean, you're saving us money and doing something unique, which is what we've been doing here, right? All right, terrific. Okay, item 9, my favorite part for the evening, election of officers for 2026.
move the current regime stay in place. Oh, no.
Oh, I want to share the joy.
As you know, the board can nominate and pick any one of the directors. Traditionally, the rotation is followed as described here, which if you choose to follow the rotation, it would be chair from the city of Rockland and vice chair from the city of Lincoln.
Sounds
All right.
great to me.
All right, any,
Bill, you okay with that?
I'm great with it.
Okay.
Can't wait to have the gavel.
Too bad you're not here anyway, so we're just going to put you there regardless.
Right.
Thank you, Bill. Any public comment on it? All right, then we'll bring it back to the board for a motion.
I move to approve the election of officers with the city of Rockland as chair and the city of Lincoln as vice chair.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Roll call, please, Eric.
Director Halden,
Yes.
Director Holdeshout,
Yes,
Director Landon,
Yes.
Director Reedy,
Yes.
Chair Gore.
Yes. Great, thank you.
If I could take a moment just to say thank you for your service for the year. It was really beneficial for Wapma.
No.
Oh, sorry.
Come on, he's saying nice things about me.
This is to Chair Gore. Sorry, Director Haudeshelt. Thank you. I appreciate it. Our whole staff appreciates it. It's a small token of appreciation, but we did get you a plaque to say.
He doesn't have wall space.
I appreciate it, thank you. It's been a good year. We had a lot of good things happen.
Wow, standing ovation over there.
Well, you know me.
It actually was a fun year, and I appreciate it. And sometimes, who knew that talking trash would be so much fun? I've enjoyed it. All right. Any reports from directors? Item 10. Any reports from directors? No? All right. Any upcoming agenda items that we need to discuss as a board? Anything, Scott, you're aware of? No? Well, then, if there is no other work this evening, we will be adjourned. It's 6:21 p.m. So, Bill, enjoy the beautiful San Diego weather, and we're adjourned. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you,
All
Chair.
right. Thanks for accommodating me. All right. Bye-bye.
You bet.